feel funny just walking around with it. Focusing on strength right now, why it's important to all of us. It's about swimming 20% faster, but Morning Trainiacs, bit of a backwards day here. We've got a technique session with Coach Pat later this evening in the pool, so that means that this morning I'm gonna get my swell on. Look at this. I still have my old weightlifting belt from when I thought I was gonna be bodybuilding Taren. It's got lifting chalk all over it and straps. I feel funny just walking around with it. So if you were to look at a lot of pro triathletes, some, not all, do strength work. However, what we find is that as they go on longer in their career, they look back and they say, oh my God, I should have done more strength work because it would have eliminated even just the little injuries and a lot of the maintenance work and any of the downtime that they had to take over the course of their career. People like Dave Scott, Craig Alexander, like the best of the best are saying that they should have spent more time on strength work. By the way, go to triathlontaren.com/strength routine if you want this strength routine. So, here's 5 reasons that I came up with this morning over tea in my PJs about why I'm focusing on strength right now, why it's important to all of us. The first reason is because in a race, it can be even as short as a sprint race. If our bodies are repeating anything 10, 15, 20,000 times with steps, with pedal strokes, with strokes, there's a lot of like small little turbulence every time we land on the ground. There's a little bit of turbulence that our body has to take that shock. And if our body isn't strong enough to keep that turbulence under control, keep that load under control, towards the end of a race, our bodies are gonna break down. All right, now let's go get jacked up. Now, the next reason is very much related to that last reason to do strength training, and that's to avoid injury. Now, all those little instabilities as you're training, they cause a lot of side-to-side movement. So as we're running, as we're swimming, as we're cycling in a forward plane, even though we're going forward, all that load on an unstable, not strong structure is going to cause little bits of side movement. Particularly, I tend to get a fair bit of instability in my lower back, which early on caused back pain, and doing a little bit of strength work allowed my body to keep it upright, keep it moving forward, and avoiding those little micro movements side to side, and those are often what creates injury. Now, the next reason that strength training is important is for range of motion. What we try to do in this strength routine is load up our muscles with as much weight as possible and getting our body in a situation where it has to recruit all these muscle fibers that it doesn't recruit just walking, because that's easy for it. But we're going into deep muscle fibers, teaching them how to activate. And because we have more muscle fibers activated, there's going to be a bigger range of motion. So what that's going to result in is we're going to, like, let's say running for instance, instead of having hip impingement and being able to like get to there with a running stride, we can all of a sudden lift our leg up much higher, we can kick it back further, we can stay in the air longer, less drag, we run faster. Do away with this now that I'm not pretending to be Ronnie Coleman anymore. Lightweight, baby. The next reason is basically along the same lines as the last one, but different purpose. So the more muscle fibers that we can recruit, the better we're gonna be in a race. We're gonna perform better while we're training. Just think about it. If you have to run, whatever, it doesn't matter what distance, 5K, and you're using 70% of the muscle fibers in your legs, do you think you'd do better if you had to run that same 5K and you're able to use 95% of the muscle fibers in your legs? Yeah, like just by nature, if we're loading our body up, teaching all the muscle fibers to fire, creating those neuromuscular connections that we can use as much of our structure, our body as possible, we're probably gonna be a fair bit faster, right? Right. 15s. Stepping up. The last reason that strength training is really beneficial is for like balance, body awareness. The more different situations that we can put our bodies in, particularly with this routine where a lot of it is single leg or balance focused or stability focused, we are going to build the body awareness to make those tiny little instant micro adjustments throughout the course of a race that are going to keep us more upright, keep us safer, keep us faster. Oh, give you a bonus, because those were all really related. So like 4 1/16 tips there. An actual one is, as we get older, especially men, but all of us, our testosterone production ends up ramping down. Loading really heavy weights onto your body, that ends up kind of stimulating testosterone production, which has uncountable benefits to your body. So I think that gets us to a total of 5, roundabout. And 7 hours later, we are back at the pool. That was an excellent technique session there with the Patster. There's a video that I did that I'll link to up here. It's about swimming 20% faster, but by having 20% longer stroke, where I analyzed Trev from our swim group's stroke because he's just so far out there and he comes so far back. And Pat gave me a little bit of tips to keep in mind for how to lengthen out that stroke. Smart man, that Pat, smart man. All right, later, Trainiacs. Let's go.